Yo ho, what's up with the hustle gang? After finishing my piece, now I got time on my hands and I just thought about an idea. I'm gonna show you guys today how to build a dot pen or a Stipple pen. With a stiffling pen machine, you can actually do that dot work effect on paper or on any materials you choose. Here I'm gonna be using my old tattoo machine, and with this old machine, you know what I mean, my clip cord, I got my old machine out, not exactly a Bishop, it's one of those knockoffs. So because it creates, I believe, a wear and tear on your motor because you're using this machine against solid materials like paper on desks. You could create a wear and tear on your motor, so make sure that you're using something you don't really care about. Make sure you're using a machine that you're not really, using for your regular daily work. If you do have one, if you don't, you can buy one on Amazon for pretty cheap. Here I'm using a tube, a tattoo tube. I'm gonna clip the tip off. Clipping this off will help my pen push through. So here I got this beautiful pen, and the cool thing about this pen is got a chrome tip that I can possibly try to use for my tattoo tube. I'm gonna feed this through the tattoo tube. I'm gonna pressure this on it. You could glue it if you like, you can tape it down, I don't know, but I didn't have to do all that. I just applied pressure and it holds pretty good. I'm gonna chop it here halfway. Make sure you don't clip too much. You can try to clip as you go, as the pen does run out of ink pretty fast when you're working with these. So here's my needle bar. I'm gonna push this needle bar on my machine. I'm gonna apply it on there, and then I'm gonna measure the amount of pen I need. So once I feed it through the tube, I will know how much pen I need, and it has to be able to exit through the hole of the tube. So here we go. I'm kind of measuring, and I'm guessing about halfway, maybe half the size. Make sure you get a standard pen. That way the little straw tube feeds through the needle. So once you clip the pen, you know what I mean, you'll be with holding half of a pen, and then you'll feed it through the machine and see kind of how the length will fit through. So you're gonna have kind of eyeball the length of your pen and your needle bar put together. Has to be able to push through the tip of your barrel. So here we go, putting a little pressure, holding the metal piece at the tip so it doesn't push out through the pressure, because that happened to me. It might pop out, as you can see. You got to make sure it's nice and snuggy and it doesn't fall off. So if it does, you can just put it back on using some pliers. Now once I feed it through the tube, right here I will be inserting that little metal piece, kind of using this metal piece to for more precision lining, you know what I mean. So I do need that, you know what I mean. Might not be necessary if you just clip it right, but if you do have a piece like that, it'd be wonderful. And it even looks cool too. It looks fucking awesome. So here we go. After applying the tube, I noticed that it's all the way to the back and I have no room for my motor to run, and it's not popping out. So adjusting it one more time, feeding it through the machine one more time. This time, make sure that I got it right. I just need enough length so that the needle pokes out when it runs. Here we go. And we're gonna just give it that final run on this one. And bam, we got it going. All right, press play, let's go. Push the punch action. We got it going. It's working, guys, it's working. Just like goddamn Frankenstein, man. It's alive, it's alive. Look at this badass machine, guys. It's very simple and easy to do. You just need a barrel, a pen, and a machine, and a power supply to run it. All right, so you can get fairly cheap materials on Amazon if you just want to be using these pens to practice on paper. They feel like the real deal, like a real tattoo machine. You'll just be working on paper or other materials, you know what I mean, creating that stiffled dot work on paper or whatever material you're using. So you can kind of mess with the volts. Right now I'm running at about 4 volts, and the faster you run it, the tighter the dots get. The slower you run it, the wider the dots get. You know what I mean? They become more open, more separated. So it just depends on what kind of effect you want to achieve. You can adjust your voltage. You'll be able to play with it once you got it running. and you'll be in the game with a tattoo pen machine or a dot pen. There you go, dot pen in effect. Now that we got it all running, it's time to put it on paper for good use. Yeah. Kill 'em all with success. I kill 'em all with success. I kill 'em all with success. I ain't seen nothing less. I'm riding with this shit up in my chest. I'm about to put a motherfucking slug up in your head. I do not give a fuck. I put them all the rest. I kill 'em all with success. I kill 'em all with success. So now that I got it running, guys, I am making sure one last time this thing is working amazing. I got to think about what to draw next, and I think I got an idea. Let me start off with some line work and see where these lines lead me to. Let's go. Thinking Hustle with Jazz Compost. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so now. Right here, I'm creating the edge of a skull. As you can see, I got the forehead lined up, the eye socket, I got the cheekbone laid out, I got the nose socket, now I got the other eyeballs in here, the eye socket here, and I'm gonna apply a little bit of cheekbone structure. Now that I laid this out, you know what I mean, I can pretty much have a map of what I'm doing now. So now I'm gonna start the dot work. And the dot work's coming out amazing. It's coming out awesome. If your dot work seems a little bit light, you might want to make sure that your pen has enough ink feeding through the barrel, through the tube. You might want to play with your pen to push out more ink. So mine seems a little bit shallow, so it's all right. It's all good. I can still create my work, my effects that I want. Running at about 5 volts right now. Eventually I will bump it up to maybe 6 or 7, and then eventually 9 or 10 when I create more darker spaces, darker areas, more darker shadows. I can run it faster to create tighter dot work. But I'm gonna run it light and slow right now, just so I can map out my whole design. As you can see, I'm running it a little bit faster to create a darker image, create a darker layout of the design. I got my skull. This is all freehand too, guys, so I thought about this on the spot. You know, I didn't really have too many ideas to work with, so you know, just the first thing that popped in my head, which I love doing skulls anyway. I love doing skulls, and I love creating different type of design like using skeleton and bone skulls and just dark grainy stuff, you know what I mean? So here we go, guys. Next, now that I got this shaded down, I'm proceeding to the next step, which is applying something underneath it. I'm going to go with rose, and you know, I mean, this is kind of a basic traditional rose. Applying the petals. This is kind of how I draw most of my roses, guys. Applying some shadow effect on there, laying it out nice and smooth. Now that I got the line work, I can start applying some shadows and some shades. Like I said, man, if you guys like this video, please follow for more. I love to create new content. I am an artist, and I'm always creating art-inspired content, you know what I mean? So because I'm an artist, I'm a tattooing artist mainly. It's how I make my living as a tattoo artist. I own my own tattoo shop. But because I enjoy, you know, different forms of art, I like to experiment using different forms, different strategies, applying different skills every time. So, you know, if you want to follow me and subscribe to my channel, eventually I can get my channel to grow by, you know, creating different forms of art. I like to go out there and observe different forms of art and then be inspired and then try to apply it and see if I can produce something nice, you know what I mean? I like to challenge myself using new techniques, new ways of doing things, different materials every time. I like to work with all kinds of materials, canvas, just different inks, like like I said, man, I like a whole variety of stuff. The Ink Hustle Tattoo TV is about, you know, creating art and making a living with your artwork. And I'm pushing the boundaries. I'm pushing the limits. What can I do with my skill? How can I evolve? How can I create something different? How can I create something special, something unique? Now that I laid out all the details here, this is all freehand, by the way, guys. Now that I laid out all the freehand work, I'm pretty much happy with what the results are. You know what I mean? I didn't look at any references. I didn't look at anything. I just had time to sit down with my mind and open up and start creating art. You know, this is pretty good and healthy for your mind. You know what I mean? To train your mind to think beyond and above and just explore different ways of doing things. You know what I mean? I'm adding a little bit of smoke above the skull head. Now I could do a lot more with this, but because I don't want the video to be super long, I'm gonna end it right here. I'm gonna write my name on it, signature this design. Just compost laid out on paper. And like I said, guys, if you guys like this video, please comment. Let me know if I inspired you. Let me know if my video was helpful to create your own dot pen machine. It seems pretty simple and easy. I could make another video using different materials, and in case you're not able to have certain materials, you know, I could try a whole different method that will still work. Check it out. My design is up and ready. Anybody wants it, y'all can screenshot, use it as a tattoo. I don't care. It's all yours, guys. Thank you for watching the Ink Hustle Tattoo TV with Jess Campos. Let's create some artwork.